Hi everyone, my name is Maor and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is a very special video and I've been waiting for a very long time to do it. I'm going to teach you how to get stronger and longer orgasms. I'm going to give you 3 amazing tips plus 2 optional ones for you advanced players, you can say. So, stay tuned. So, we're going to go into how you can have a stronger and longer orgasm. Now, you've probably had longer orgasms and stronger orgasms in your life. Now let's try to understand and reverse engineer why. Why did it actually happen? One of the reasons that it happened is because you were like super extra turned on or super extra horny, one might say. So the first tip is about not ejaculating, not masturbating for at least 2 or 3 days. Now, because this subject is being, some people take it very, very seriously and stuff, I'm just going to put my goofy hat on, which I've been planning on using for many months now in one of my videos. This is my goofy hat. It's also my thinking hat. It's the hat that I got from one of my assistants in Peru. And I want you guys to take this subject not very seriously, because if you're going to overthink it, what is going to happen? Doubt, fear, and then you won't get aroused that much. You'll be in your head much more than you are in your body. So, my first advice to you, of course, is don't masturbate for 2 or 3 days, okay? Unless you're like 15 years old and you can have sex for 3 or 4 times in a row, you're not there anymore, don't do it. If you're already a practitioner of Tantra, then you might do it, because that won't be a problem, because we don't actually ejaculate, which is one of the tips I'm going to give you in the end of how to get there. Now, the first tip works because the muscles actually build up this tension within them. The same thing with your testicles that are accumulating sperm. In other words, the more tension that you have, the more hungry that you are, the more you're going to enjoy your meal. Imagine the last time that you were extra thirsty, okay? And then you came to the glass of water and you drank and it was so tasty and full of flavor, even though it's just water. Why? Because of that. So, first advice is don't masturbate, don't touch yourself, don't have sex with other people for 2 or 3 days before the intercourse. Enjoy it, wait for it. Expect it. The build-up itself, what we call the foreplay itself with the experience, is one of the most powerful things that you can have. It's the expectation of the thing that is sometimes more arousing than the thing itself. The second advice I can give you is slow is better. I'm not talking about turtle slow, and I'm not talking about bunny fast. I'm talking about slow. The whole thing. On average, sex is about 8 minutes all around the world. And some of you are saying like, whoa, 8 whole minutes. And others are going like, whoa, only 8 minutes? Yes. The average, including foreplay. Amazing. So this tip and generally this video is for women and for men as well. Okay. What you want to do is you want to prolong it. I'm not saying go for the whole hour like you do in Tantra and stuff like that. Try to prolong it. Try to prolong the foreplay, and in the act itself, in and out, slower. Now, let me explain to you why this is so important. What happens when we breathe fast, when we breathe, shallow breaths, we call it. In other words, breaths that are occurring very, very rapidly, very fast. We're not actually allowing the body the time to absorb all the oxygen. In other words, when we take a big breath and we keep it inside, the oxygen has the time to move into all the little cells inside the lungs, and we actually feel it with all of the oxygenation with all of our body. The same thing happens when you're doing it too fast. You're actually not allowing the receptors of your penis or of your vagina to enjoy all to their full capacity. They enjoy it much more when it's slow. It's slow, okay? There's no other ways of putting it that way, and you're making me blush a little bit. Now, if the second tip was about taking it slow and about extending the foreplay and the act itself, and remember, there is a point in the sexual act that you will feel like you need a little bit more friction, okay? And after that point, you will see that you don't need that much friction. In other words, you almost climax, and then you say to yourself, oh my God, if I start going slower, I'm going to contract. Don't worry about it, okay? Stay in the 70-80% level, and then slowly pull it out, even stop, make a small stop, a little bit of foreplay, maybe even go for 2 or 3 minutes stop, completely. Get out if you feel like it's too much for you. So, first tip, don't masturbate, don't touch yourself a few days before. Second tip, take the act itself slow. Third tip, take the last part of the act before the orgasm also very slow, okay? In other words, not in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, no. Take that point slow, and this requires some control. Now, for men, usually because we are very, very used to masturbating, and the porn industry pretty much completely ruined everything that we understand about the sexual world, about love, about making love and stuff like that, then we want everything to be quick because we think that there's an end. We think that in the end of the journey we're going to have a good time. But an orgasm can be 3 seconds, and an orgasm can be 30, 40 seconds, and some orgasms can last for minutes. Now, if you've never experienced it, just imagine, okay? If you have a 3-second peak to God, and you know, one of the reasons that we even have orgasms is because we lose time, is because we go back into unity for that very short amount of time. And that's why we want to experience it, because that's where we come from the non-dual experience. So, if you want to touch it, imagine touching it for 30 seconds. For 1 whole minute. You're gonna drive yourself crazy with these things, okay? Like super crazy. And then you'll ask yourself, oh my God, all of my life, I haven't really experienced it. And then you might forget, and then you're gonna go back to your old program, your own patterns. But if you go with these advices, I guarantee it's going to be a different experience. So, the third tip is about also going slow during the act itself, and this is going to take all of your restraint. This is going to take a little bit of discipline. What you should tell yourself is that there's no loss, there's just an experience. There's no success and there's no failure. Tell your partner you're going to try to take it really slow, see what happens with her. Or if you're a girl, see what happens with him. Tell him, let's try something new. Let's take it very, very slow. No more fucking, making love, taking it slow, being in the passion, being in the zone with each other, breathing into each other, feeling the energy that is moving within our body. Now, I know I promised you 2 optional for advanced players, okay? 2 optional tips for advanced players. The first one is, and again, a lot of men are going to say, no, nothing goes in there. Anal, okay? And we don't have to put anything inside. It's just about touching. It's touching, it's moving it a little bit in circles. So your girl or the person that you're spending time with, if you want to be politically correct, they can tap, okay, on your anus. Tap, they can move in circles, you can make it just a little bit wet. The whole area is surrounded with receptors, okay? Now, for the more advanced users, of course, you can put the tip of the finger in. Some people put the whole thing in. Some people use toys and stuff like that. But most heterosexual men are afraid of that, so I'm just going to tell you, tap, try it. By yourself or with somebody else. That's advanced tip number 1. Advanced tip number 2. Go for tantra, non-ejaculation. In other words, when I was about 17, I've learned of this, the existence of the separation of the muscle that actually creates the ejaculation, you know, that brings the semen out from the testicles, and the brain that understands that he can make that separation. And actually, I learned that you can have orgasms without ejaculation. It doesn't have to come together. It's just that we were so used to it by then. And once we are in our comfort zone, it's really hard to change our patterns. But there's a lot of tricks that I have already given you in different videos about stopping the ejaculation. It's about practicing by yourself. It's about reaching the point before the orgasm of 70-80%, and then slowly moving down, and then again 70-80%, and then slowly moving down. And we do this enough time, you get more control over that muscle. There's the $1 million point that you can press and stops the semen from coming out. That's the bad way of doing it. That's the training ways of doing it. After that, you just learn how to control it by yourself. And I can tell you that if you use this advanced tip, then you won't have to wait 2 or 3 days. You won't have to wait for anything to accumulate, because you're going to be just like the capability of women, that they are able to have multiple orgasms, you will be able to have multiple orgasms. It is the Kundalini energy, it is the energy of creation of the man. The man is expanding his light out, okay? And because of that, it takes a lot of energy. Imagine that what you're doing is that you're taking out of your body light that is supposed to create life. Okay, life itself, and that requires a lot of energy. In every time you have an orgasm and you ejaculate, you're ejaculating 250 million sperm cells. That's enough to repopulate all of Europe, or almost all of the United States, with one orgasm. They even calculated the amount of megabytes and gigabytes that all that DNA actually has, and it was like a huge number. So let's repeat to summarize so you guys can practice by yourself. Number one, easy one, don't ejaculate 2 or 3 days before. Number two, during the time itself, take your time, slowly, longer sexual desires, longer making love, everything like that. In the last part, when you know that you're getting there, also take it slowly, control yourself just a little bit. Try to do it very, very slow. You're gonna peak, it's gonna go, like seriously, like I'm very, very serious about that. That's the third one. The fourth one and the fifth one were about anal stimulation, which can be tapping, circles, it can be just putting it on there while you're doing the act itself. You can do it by yourself, it's very uncomfortable, ask your partner to do it for you. And the fifth is about the ejaculation part. Learn how to withhold it by yourself. Usually the practices that I've given you in different videos are about that. And I'm gonna put a link in the end of this video to one of my previous videos that explains more about tantric sex, because this is going to bring you, and like I said, it's for advanced users, this is going to take you to your next level. If you feel a little bit bored in your sexual life, and you're even looking out to cheat and be with other people, it's all in your mind, okay? If you're in a loving relationship, don't go and do something stupid like that, man. Just enjoy what you have, because you haven't gone deep with that person. You haven't gone deep all the way. There's a lot more to experience. If you haven't played around with sex toys, buy sex toys, buy outfits, go into characters. There's so many different things that you can actually do. It's an amazing world. Go, experience, research, expand your knowledge about it. Don't stay in your comfort zone. Move your partner out of your comfort zone as well. So my friends, thank you very much for watching me all the way to the end. And like I said, you can go on my website, Maor.com, sign up for my newsletter for every new video that comes out, sometimes articles that I do. Join one of my amazing, life-changing pranic initiation workshops anywhere in the world. I go to traveling every month or 2 months, living my dream, kind of, enjoying every moment of it. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Namaste, my friends. Love to all.